The reason for reconditioning this front assembly is basically because, as you'll see, if I grab it from side to side and rock it, there's no movement on the wheel. But if I grab it from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock and rock it, you can hear the knocking, which means there's some worn components in this. And this is the reason I'm taking it apart, so I can obviously take a look to see what the problem is and replace those parts, as well as any other parts that I can gain access to at that time. I will be reconditioning a Dana 27AF front axle and closed knuckle assembly from my International Harvester Scout 80, which is a 1965. From the line setting ticket, the front axle was identified as an FA14 with a gear ratio of 4.88. This particular axle is a Dana 27AF with an open differential and having the capacity of pulling 2,000 pounds. My first step will be required for me to remove the Warner locking hub. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll show everybody how I do it step by step. First, I'll have to be taking off these particular bolts, which have locking tabs on them. Look like they've been pretty chewed up though. I'm removing that, then the hub, and inside of this there might be a snap ring, retaining washer, an outer nut, maybe an inner nut, I'm not sure. I've never done this before. I've only researched it and did some reading on them. So I'll go ahead and get that started, and I'll show you step by step how I do it. First, I'll be removing the individual nuts from the wheel. Sometimes they're a little stiff. A little persuasion never hurts. As you can see, here's the nut and the locking tab. It's taken pretty much a beating and everything. I'll get back to you. I'll remove the rest of these nuts and locking washers and with tabs. And what I'll do then is I'll remove the hub and we'll take a look at the inside to see what it's all about. With the last nut about to be removed, the hub is already pretty loose and looks like it's going to come right off, which is always, I guess, a good thing. And there you can see it was packed with grease pretty well, which is always a good thing. You can see the inside here of the hub, the gasket, rubber gasket, and here's this, and I'll go ahead and I'll have to clean this up so I can get a better look at things. Here's the gasket. Looked like it took a beating, or that's not a gasket, but I'll get in there and take a look at everything and see what's what and see what the next step is for the disassembly of this whole component. As you can see, after cleaning up some of the grease from the components, you can see the retaining ring right here that's holding on the hub assembly as well as the four-wheel drive gear. And once I get this removed, I should be able to remove these two components, and then we'll see what the next step of this project is going to entail. Next thing to be removed will be the outer nut. And what you'll need is a hammer as well as a screwdriver, because what it is, basically someone else has really done a lot of work on this particular hub and they've really pounded away at it. And once you loosen it up, you can see it will slowly turn to a point where, hopefully, you can turn it by your finger. Unfortunately, it looks like the threads are in good shape since I'm able to take it off by hand. Once it comes off, I should be able to get the washer retainer out, and it's loose. That will come out. And then the last thing in there is the inner nut, which I have to remove the same way with a screwdriver and hammer. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll take this out and then I'll come back on and we'll pull this hub off and see if it comes off easily. After you've removed the inner nut, now you're able to access the bearing that was behind that. It slides right out. What I'll go ahead and do is I'm just going to try to take care of it. For maybe future, I'll probably replace it, but sometimes I'll do shortcuts. And now that the nuts and the bearings and everything's off, this should slide right off to reveal the brakes and everything. Let's see what we get. Sounds like, there it is. There's the brake shoes. They're looking pretty good shape actually. No scores. I put on a new cylinder at one time. So the next thing that we'll have to do, we'll have to remove this whole assembly to allow us access to the knuckle behind it. And when I get to that point, I'll just go ahead and take this off, probably as a whole unit. I'll just undo these various nuts here, undo the brake line behind that, and it should come right out. So next time you'll see all of this removed, and we'll be working on the knuckle the next stage.